So for Myra, we're going to need a styrofoam piece that's the same height and width as the name. You don't want to have too much space above and below because the wand is only this thick. So when you try to go in, it won't be able to go in. Okay, so I'm going to take some thumbtacks and I'm going to put it on the thicker parts. I got these thumbtacks at the dollar store. Super inexpensive. You want to get these, the ones that have the little handle, because the ones that are flat, they're going to be hard to take off, and you don't want to make this process more inconvenient than it already is. This is why I say it didn't matter about those little holes, because you won't need them. It doesn't matter if they're there, as long as you know where you're cutting. And this is why I say you need cardstock, because even with cardstock, it's still pretty flimsy. So imagine if we had used paper. Okay. So some areas is going to be hard, like this one, because the thumbtack's wider than the tail. Okay. So I like to start basically just removing as much as I can before I start doing the details. So I'm going to remove some of this. And you want to do it in smooth motions, because if you go very fast, the string can break. And then it leaves these lines on there, and they don't look pretty good. Then you have to sand them. It's an extra step. So it's better if you just go nice and slow. Take your time. When you do that, it comes out super smooth. Okay. So I like to start in corners. If you see the A, I'd probably come down straight into this corner and then work my way up and then around this. Or I probably just won't start like in this little corner or that corner. Just more of the corners that are like here. And then work my way around the big parts. Because I feel like when you start in the big part and then work your way to the corner, maybe this is just in my head, but it's a little bit more uncomfortable to make these turns. If I already start here and then I make this turn, it's a little bit easier for me. And you'll see as you're doing it on your own what works for you. So I like to go down and then up, and then I'm done with that piece. And remember to keep your hands steady. Then around the A, I do little chunks, because if you do big chunks, then you mess up. So here in this part, let's say I'm going to do this, the top part. I like to start in the middle and then go this way, then go back and go that way, and I'm done. Okay. Then I'm going to go straight down and then up. And remember the thumbtack is there, so. Okay, so I'm most likely going to fast forward this. You just go around. There's no way to mess this up because you have the paper as your stencil. So when you go down, you can't go any further. All you have to do is just follow. Follow the stencil. But make sure, like I said, keep your hands steady. If you're going around it, just keep your hands steady. Because as you can see, the front of the stencil, it's parallel with the back of the stencil. It's not diagonal, it's not going inwards or backwards. It's just perfect. The back part lines up with the front part. And that's because I'm keeping it perfectly aligned like that. you gotta be careful here because it's very thin. Paper thin. You could also do it like this. Down and up. Let's see how this came out. I'll have to sand that out. Okay, this is what it's looking like in the back. And I take a toothpick and certain places like the things are stuck that I can't get into, I'll just like get it out like that. So to get into these areas, that's where the other tool comes in handy. So I'll show you this one. It's going to take a while to heat up. But once it does, we're just going to go straight through. Remember, it's super hot still, so be careful, because if you try to take this off, and then your fingers could get hurt. Okay, so now you take off all the thumb tags. So you can save the stencil and use it again. If you don't want to, you throw it away. But this is what you have left over.
You're gonna have to sand the edges up to make it more presentable, and then you're gonna paint it. I'll make that in a separate video.